Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rahmat Alam by Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi. Muhammad, peace be upon him. Mercy for the universe. Translated by Ear of Luther. Chapter 37. Hawazin and Saqif campaign. Makkah was the capital of Hijaz and religious center of the Arabs. When the banner of Islam was hoisted on the top of the Kaaba, Arabia accepted the truthfulness of the religion of Islam. The people poured in the lap of Islam in numbers. There were two tribes inhabiting near Makkah. They were Hawazin and Saqif. They felt it their shame to be under the influence of any other tribe. So their chiefs instigated other chiefs and assembled at Hunain. They had a mighty force with them. 12,000 Muslims, including converts from the Quraysh, advanced against those two tribes. The Hawazins were best archers. In the first attack, the Muslims were uprooted and could not stand the archers of the enemy. Although the arrows were volleyed fast from the enemy side, the Prophet remained steadfast at his own place. He looked towards the right and said, "O ye Ansars, raise aloud your voice that you are present here." Then he looked towards the left and uttered the same words. With a mighty voice he spoke, "I am God's slave and envoy. Without doubt I am his prophet, the son of Abdullah, son of Abdul Muttalib." Hazrat Abbas called the Muslims, "O ye the group of Ansars, O ye who have promised to be faithful, O ye who promised to adhere to Islam forever, come forward." As soon as the revolutionizing words poured into their ears, the Muslims rushed forward and like hawks pounded upon the enemy, throwing away their coats of mail and rode their steeds. Now the scene of war entirely changed. The infidels lost their hold and were shattered and scattered till they began to run away. Some people of the enemies assembled at Taif. At this place, Banu Saqif reckoned themselves equal to the Quraysh. Their fort was very safe and strong. They had enough war material with them. They closed the gates of the fort. They took their position against the Muslims, besieging them from outside. Muslims' attack could bear no fruit. The fort could not be conquered. They did not like it to remain unconquered for fear of any other mischief by them. They sought one more chance for a day from the Prophet. He very kindly allowed them. The next day they attacked the infidels with a great force, but the victory seemed still too far. They again approached the Prophet and said, "O ye the Prophet of God, invoke curse for them." But the blessed and blissful lips of the mercy of God prayed, "O Lord, bless the Saqif with true guidance and bring them to the threshold of Islam." The invocation did not go in vain. In 2 years' period, the people of Saqif of their own came to Medina and embraced Islam. Distribution of booty and Prophet's sermon. After doing away with the besiege of Taif, the Prophet is stationed at Jarana. They had enough booty with them, such as 600 prisoners, 2,400 camels, 40,000 goats, 40,000 tolas of silver. The Prophet had been waiting there for the relatives of the people to get release of their prisoners. Many days passed, but none of their relatives came there. The booty was divided into 5 parts. 4 parts were distributed among the soldiers, and the 5th was kept with the Prophet. He wanted it to give that portion to the poor, destitutes, and also for the welfare of Islam. The Holy Prophet gave enough material from the booty to the converts to the faith for their consolation. Even if the converts were rich, but they were not deprived of the booty. Some of the Ansars were not conversant with the fine planning of the Prophet, misunderstood him and thought that he was giving enough to the Quraysh as they belonged to his tribe, and that the Madanites were being ignored by him and were deprived of the share of the booty. Of course, they had fought along with the Quraysh against the common enemy, so much so that the blood of the Quraysh was still dropping from their swords. So some of the Ansar cried out, "In difficult periods we were called to serve, but the reward is being given to others." The Holy Prophet heard this and proceeded to the tents of the Ansars and said, "Did you utter such and such words?" They replied, "O ye the Prophet of God, none of our elders said so. Of course, some youths have spoken these words." Thereafter, the Prophet delivered a sermon to them. "Is it not true that you were far away from the right path, and God guided you to the straight path of bliss? Were you not living disjointed and scattered? My God made you one. Were not you poor? My God made you rich." He went on speaking in such an impressive tone, reminding them of their earlier state and the present fortune in which they were living. The Ansar said, "It is God's great blessing and of the Holy Prophet." He then said, "No, you can say this only. Muhammad, when the people did not accept you, we believed in you as true. When the people left you alone, we sided you and supported you. You came to us as poverty is stricken. We helped you in every way. Thereafter he said, you should put forward this reply and I shall go on saying that you speak the truth. But O ye Ansar, don't you like that others may take away camels and goats and Muhammad be with you in your houses? On hearing this, the Ansar cried loudly, we need Muhammad, peace be upon him only. Some of the Ansars wept so much that their beards were drenched with their tears. He made them understand that the Makkans had embraced Islam very recently, so whatever they got was not their right, but that was an act of benevolence to make them conversant with the blessings of Islam. In the meantime, some persons came to the Prophet to take away their relatives after paying ransom. Among them were the people of the Aus tribe. The nurse Halima Sadiya was also among the prisoners. She had been his wet mother. The Prophet said, whatever is the share of the family of Abdul Muttalib belongs to you. But the release of prisoners is conditional that they should assemble after the prayer and you make your request before all of them. The noon prayer was offered. The prisoners put up their requests and demands to the Prophet in the presence of all the Muslims. He said, I am responsible only for my family. I shall recommend your case before the Muslims. As soon as the Muslims heard these words, they said, our share too belongs to you, O Prophet of God. In this way, all the prisoners were set free. May Allah guide us on the right path. Ameen. Jazakallah. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the updates till next time. Thank you.